we could just start the meeting. Beth, are you here?
I am here.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, it's 7:05. Call this meeting to order. And this open meeting of the Library Planning and Building Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order. And we're going to follow all those rules for this meeting. We're convening by Zoom, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. So I'd like to do a verbal roll call with everyone to make sure that everybody is heard. So start Beth.
Here.
Doug.
Here.
John.
Here.
Andy.
Here.
And Mary here. I think that's everybody. Okay. Beth sent out the minutes for our review. And has everybody had a chance to take a look at those?
Yep.
Okay, great. Somebody want to make a motion to approve those?
So move. Second.
Thank you. Vote by roll call. Beth,
I.
Doug,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Mary, aye. Declare the motion carried. We have one bill, I believe, to review. It's a humidifier.
There's a couple bills. I think there's 3 or 4 bills she sent. 1, 2,
I think
3,
I have
4.
4.
Okay, yep. Yeah, the DRA one was not, has
So-
already been paid, I believe.
So for the record, I need this group to approve payment of them. We had 3 DRA bills that came in at once, 2 from last year and a new one for this year that was in the same amount of one of the ones for last year. So when it came up for discussion at our last meeting, we said, oh, we already paid those, or we already approved those. They said we approved them. I think I didn't pay them, and was confused by the 2 that were identical in payment amount. So we've actually only approved the 2 from 2022 and paid them. And I still have one from 2023 that I need approved, but I just went ahead and paid. So,
Understood. Okay.
sorry,
So-
this is why I do not want to be doing this part of the work. Things are falling through the cracks because I'm trying to do the clerk of the work job, bringing bills forward and getting them paid. And I'm not doing well at it. So I apologize. I'm happy to share the screen for the one that I need approval on. That yes, I just went ahead and paid so that we can get it paid.
Okay, so let's start with that one, Beth.
Okay. It's a
That's the DRA one.
Yeah, DRA invoice $269.69 dated May 31st, 2023. And I believe I understand from Ron, this is the last bill? Like the last
Yeah,
one ever?
I checked my accounting. My tracking for this project, and that was the final payment back in May. And I had withheld it for a while because the project was not finished. But according to our spreadsheet, everything's paid at this point.
So I make a motion to pay DRA the amount of $269.60.
Second.
Okay. My question about that. So if you're saying everything is paid, Ron, including this 269?
Including this
Oh.
269, since it's been paid.
But I think Beth implied that she paid it, right? She
Yes.
just
We
needs
have to
kind
vote
of-
to approve.
We
But
need
you
to
have to
approve
vote
it.
to approve it. Yeah.
But you just paid it right now, you're saying, Beth? No, or you
No,
paid it?
yeah, in the last month or so, we've paid it, because, I mean, there's been enough time for the check to get mailed in for Ron to go, no, you paid it.
Okay, so
I
we're
need
just
the official
approving
approval of it.
269 because there hasn't been an approval on that one. So we have a motion and it's seconded. Vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Mary, aye. Declare the motion carried. Okay, look at the humidifier for
Give me
218
one moment.
APA.
I'm also taking the minutes, so hold on 1 second and let me.
Sure.
I think this is it. Hold on. This is for APA in the amount of $7,180 for a Condair humidifier for room 218, which is serving as a historical document room that we want to have climate and temperature controlled. We've got the temperature control. We don't have the humidity control. As part of the original project, we did a change order because it turned out what was designed, Ron, you can correct me if I'm wrong, what was designed wasn't going to work in the room, so we had to look at an alternative, and this is a commercial grade humidifier, which means we still need somebody to install it and attach plumbing and electrical to it. So William Blake is working on a quote with Renaud HVAC to find out what the additional cost will be. This is just for the unit itself, and it's appropriately sized for the space.
Correct.
It'll work for both the locked room and the open room.
It only needs to work for the locked room,
Okay,
the locked storage room.
Anything that we bring out is brought out very briefly.
no, I just didn't know if you had other things stored, historical things in the open meeting area. Because it seems like there are a lot of cabinets in there too.
Yeah, some of the things that we have stored in there currently are Grafton author collection, which does get some touch. We need it available, and the yearbooks, which we have also digitized. And we do have Grafton News, some of the Grafton News, more recent Grafton News in there at the moment, which there is a long-term plan to get some money and digitize that as well.
So when you digitize that, does the paper go away then?
No, we keep it in perpetuity. It's just to protect it from crumbling away, basically, and to make it accessible. But
Right.
we keep both. Yeah, it'll actually get filmed onto microfilm, retained as microfilm and print, and then go online. About $25,000.
You can ask CP, well, you can't, I was gonna say. It's,
There's a legislator actually working to change the law in Massachusetts to allow CPC funding to take care of archival and digitization.
because there's certain things we can do, but a lot of stuff we can't. So that's,
Yeah,
like, we can do the town records because those are old. But because these are, if they were 50-year-old newspapers, we could. But you can't digitize them. You can only conserve what you have. Even though digitizing technically preserves the documents because you're not touching them anymore.
right.
But until they
Yeah.
change it, you're right, we can't do
Yeah.
what's.
At any rate, it is the more fragile things, a lot of paper that is stored in 2018. And that's what we're looking, and the older stuff, that's what we're looking to protect for now.
Okay, and Beth, are we gonna have to vote on the install of this as well? Because it's not really part of the contract anymore, right?
I don't know at what point we'll determine this is something, town or capital campaign or trustees or somebody else should be taking care of, or if it's going to be a negotiable point at the end of the contract. I know Mark is going to schedule a meeting soon to look at that. I mean, I don't remember what the value of the whole installation and hardware was for the original proposal, but it was pulled out as a change order at some point because we weren't going to be able to make it work.
Right.
So presumably we're not at our limit yet of what we have to spend on this solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion to approve this bill?
So move.
Somebody want to second it?
Second.
Any other questions on this before we vote? Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Mary, aye. Declare the motion carried. You have to tell me when you're ready for the next one.
All right, what do you have next?
Keys for presentation area and makerspace doors. Oki Industries, $340.
That's
So,
the HSI, PSI invoice. I see that.
So doors were installed, but with a placeholder for a core to be added so that it could be on our key scheme. 3A is the one that we use for most, staff areas. So that's what we want to put into that spot. So I had to order 2 additional cores.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to approve?
Yeah, I make a motion to pay HSI invoice of $340.
Somebody second?
Second.
Any questions on this? Vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Mary, aye. Declare the
And-
motion.
Sorry, I missed who nominated in second.
I think it was John that seconded it.
Right.
And who made the motion?
Doug,
Doug.
Thank you. Kind of spare you all watching me type. The last one that I have is Colliers.
yeah, I had a question on that. Do we know like how many meetings that was and because it says additional meetings, so it sounds like this is above and beyond what we originally
Yeah.
estimated for them.
It is because we still don't have HVAC commission. They're supposedly trying to schedule a meeting now to wrap it up. And I made the construction team aware today that the last time we had a power outage a couple of weeks ago, that I had brought to their attention that one of the things that happened during the power outage was a lot of the programming for the thermostats was wiped out and needs to be redone again. So I don't know if they're expecting to come for one more visit and be done, or if it's going to be even longer because now we have to go back and do remedial work again.
So are you saying that Colliers comes in and they commission, but it's still not complete yet?
Yes.
But it doesn't sound like they're coming in. It says virtual meetings.
Yeah, it does say
But-
virtual.
Yeah, then that's them speaking with the project team. I'm not involved in those meetings. That would be them talking to, I presume, veterans and LG, who does the thermostats, and Advantage, who does the online portion of it.
I
So-
personally would like to see more detail on what this is all about.
Yeah, like how many meetings it was, how many people? Is it just one
Yeah.
person sitting in a 1 hour meeting or?
Who are they
And-
meeting with?
Yeah. They're not meeting
Yeah.
with me.
And, maybe explain the commissioning, like, do they have to wait till it's 100% fully functional and then they're done commissioning it?
Yeah.
Even with all these little bugs and hiccups and stuff?
Yeah, so this is what's holding us up from being able to submit the last piece of the lead certification application. That the HVAC still does not work to our satisfaction. It's loud, it's clanking, the temperature is off. And then like things like happen like a power outage. And now the children's program room is running on heat instead of cool. And the thermostats are, instead of being locked to a 68 to 74 degree range, they can be adjusted only at some thermostats. Change from heat to cool to fan, and they can go outside of that temperature range, which they're not supposed to be able to do to have the building energy efficient. So our system is not working like it is supposed to.
So is there any compensation we get from the HVAC company since it's their issues, their problems?
So again, I think I wish Mark was able to stay for he got on at 6 and waited for us and didn't get the message that the meeting was not, was going to be later. So I think this is a question for him to answer. He's asked if we he and I and Evan and William can sit down to have our final meeting about, what's still not done and how are we going to get reimbursed for things that don't work. Or that we now will need to fix outside of scope of the project. But
Yeah,
I think he would be able to answer the question about how many meetings and how many people and what is this actually for. I am not able to, I'm sorry.
Ron, do you know anything about this?
No, I haven't been involved in the commissioning either. I know we've been discussing there was a stall because someone left the company. Beth, correct me if I'm wrong on any of
Yeah.
this. But as I recall, there was a
Beth.
stall in the commissioning process because somebody left the company and they had to get somebody back online. They got somebody back on board, but was he not responding or?
I know that the last couple of messages that he has not responded to. So.
Yeah, so they went above that person's head to his boss, who is getting things moved forward. There has been some recent progress in finishing the commissioning process. One of the things they owe us are the reports needed for the lead certification. I know they had trouble tracking down documentation of the training process for the library staff, which was also part of the lead certification. And I believe that was found and turned in, but the actual certification process hasn't been finished yet. But they do have somebody new on board. Their boss is getting them to move forward. But that's as much as I know from the construction meetings.
And also this is from May 31st. So if they've been working all along this summer trying to fix things, I don't understand what the additional is.
So I know that we had some issues in May that they were all working on. So we would have gotten this bill after our June meeting, and then it's possible there wasn't any. They were either weren't meeting or didn't do anything in June or July. I think we are at a point where because we're beyond what they had budgeted as quoted, let's say, for their work on the project. We have not been paying them every month anymore. We've only been paying them as we've needed to have them come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they probably came in
In May.
Yeah, when all that was happening with the HVAC system and they thought that they had it finally
Yeah.
fixed. Okay, so this makes more sense now. So they probably had quite a few hours at that time talking back and forth with them and getting the they were doing they were trying to get the points right and to make sure that everything was carried in the computer, in the software and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So does anybody have any solutions? What do you all think we should do with this?
Well, I have one more question for Beth. Didn't Mark say in one of our meetings, and maybe I have the wrong vendor, but Colliers was looking for additional fees, and he told them that no, what the work they were doing was part of their base contract?
That was Veterans. So
That was Veterans. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Veterans is the hardware installer who put in the units that are on the roof. And then LG does the thermostats and Advantage is doing the online piece, which would in theory allow me to like log on remotely on a Sunday and adjust the
right.
temperature if needed. And when they're working on commissioning the system and programming the thermostats to make basically the software talk to all the hardware, then I
Right.
get locked out of that system and can't use it. So my sense is that Collier has been doing their job, and I have more of a sense that it's Veterans
It was
who's kind
Veterans.
of holding
Okay,
things up.
I'm sorry, I had the wrong.
That's
vendor.
okay. It's a lot of companies.
I just wanted to bring it up before
Yeah.
everybody voted on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm happy to, we're supposed to make a motion and then discuss, right? I'm happy to make a motion to pay this because I feel like Colliers has been doing their work and it's really not their fault, if we want to use words like fault and blame, that the project hasn't wrapped up and that we still have to pay them to do commissioning because things are not falling into place with its veterans. It's the Veterans Advantage LG team. That's the HVAC.
Yeah,
They're
I
not
agree.
solving HVAC issues quickly or to my satisfaction.
Okay.
yeah, I think so too. I think that they're doing what they need to do, and maybe the town needs to fight with veterans or whoever to get some of that money. I don't know. I think.
Yeah,
My
that's what it
concern
seems
is
like.
that-
It's
that
not
the
a
bill-
Colliers issue.
Yeah. That's my.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, Mark
That
can give
there's
us
no
direction on that.
description in the bill, though.
That is true.
I don't have a problem paying them. I'm sure they're doing their work, but they need to explain to us how to justify paying them $1,600 other than just to say virtual meeting.
That's what I have an issue with as well.
I think that, I don't think that's asking too much.
Okay.
I mean, it says it services rendered through 5/31, but when does that start? Like how many, is that 1 month? Is that 2 months of work?
I believe it's 1 month. Yeah.
That seems like a lot of meeting time.
Can they provide a more itemization of the $1,600? We'll be happy to pay it.
I can ask. You can bring it back. I don't know that this looks different than other bills that we've paid with no question.
But the other bills for them were part of the original contract for
Mhm.
whatever it is, $38,000. So it was part of what they were supposed to do. This is on top of it. So I think it's, important that we find out, for me, if we're going to vote, I'm going to vote in favor of it. I want to know what we're paying for.
I agree.
Okay. I'll see what I can find out and bring it back.
Thank you. So I move to pass over this bill. If we need to do that.
somebody want to second that?
Second,
We,
Go for roll call, Beth? You don't need to do
Aye.
that?
I don't,
Yeah,
I don't,
I. No?
we're already in it, so let's go.
Doug,
aye.
John,
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Mary, aye. Declare the motion carried. Okay. So you'll bring that back for September, I guess? Beth? Or if we need to have a special meeting for it.
Okay.
Ron, do you have anything for us?
No new update. We're still having weekly construction meetings to tie up the loose ends. We have it down to 2 or 3 items. One is getting the humidifier installed. The other is getting the HVAC commissioning and issues resolved. There were some issues with the door to the teen room that we thought we had fixed the leak and it started up again. So Chandler, who is they did not install that door. They installed the hollow metal frames, not hollow metal, the storefront system on the building, as well as the program and teen room. They were asked to take a look at that door and see if they can find any reason why it's leaking. So they're looking into that issue. There was an issue with the rainwater gutters or leaders overflowing, and the contractor is looking in to see if there are any splits in the gutter seams that might be leaking out onto the ground below, causing the mulch to spill onto the sidewalk. So that's being addressed. And I think that's best that I miss anything. That's pretty much it.
Presentation area doors. Somebody was coming back to make some tweaks, I think, because I took some photos and shared some video that like the glass was
Yeah.
rattling and the handles didn't quite line up. So I'm in tomorrow again, and we'll be taking a look. I think Chandler was going to be back on site to take a look at it.
Yes, and those doors had been replaced. They were manufactured incorrectly. With the mullions in the wrong place. It didn't line up with the adjacent side lights. So they replaced them. We had to wait for them to be manufactured. They've been installed, but there's some cleanup they need to do with the installation, as Beth mentioned. The door handles were, it's a double door, so the door handle was offset. It looked uneven. I believe one of the doors wasn't closing. When it would close, it didn't look like it was in the right position. But as far as we know, they've been out to take care of that. So when Beth gets back into the office, she can let us know if it's to her satisfaction. But mainly at this point, it's just tying up loose ends and just getting things settled. There's no major work going on in the project.
The little roller get put on the upstairs gate, the little wheel.
I think we determined that we'll have tonographs and figure that out and put it on.
Okay.
Yeah, instead
Yeah,
of waiting
that's-
and waiting.
That's been another thing that's been going back and forth. And the only other item I had was the directional sign for the west entrance, showing people where the accessible entrance is at the east. I sent the revised design to John and to Christy from the ADA Commission for review. So I made the revisions that were requested. And John, you're taking that to HDC for final
Right.
approval?
That's on our agenda for a week from Thursday. And it seems like Christy said she signed off on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think based on the changes that you made, based on what we requested, it will be approved. So that'll be taken care of next Thursday. Week
Great.
from Thursday.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ron? Great. All right, there's nobody else here except for us, so no public comments. Unless there's anything else, if anybody has any other comments. I think we're
Doug
all
has a question.
Yeah, I just have a friendly update from the capital campaign.
Mhm.
I just wanted to update on some of the stuff that's fairly recent. I think last time I mentioned the patio furniture, that's all been completely installed and put together and everything. So on the community patio and the team patio, there's a bunch of tables and chairs. We ordered and received some concrete game tables. These are like the concrete, like a chess table that's going to go on the team patio. So we're working on installing those because they're very heavy. We received some outdoor musical instruments. These are kind of like those like metal things you see in parks that people can bang on and play music. We have a bunch of those that are going in the back children's walkway and children's patio. There's some, I think they were landscaping issues from the original project that just like the landscaping that just wasn't done that great. And the two areas in the front of the building, that big island, and then around where the sign is, everything's just kind of growing like crazy. So the capital campaign is working to kind of clean that landscaping up a little bit. And I think that's it.
And I did, just to kind of circle back to historic district, that Bill said, if Bill Nicholson, who's the chairman of historic district, that for the request that you made for the compost,
That's right. Yep, there were two others. Yes.
that the compost and for the flag. You still aren't for sure about the flag. And does anybody remember? I thought there was a flagpole at the library. Maybe not, because there was a lady named Dorothy Mongeau who was a librarian, I believe, at maybe the Center Library, but she was killed in an automobile accident, and her husband, in her memory, put flagpoles at least at North and South Grafton libraries. I thought he also put one up at the Center Library. But if you didn't take out down a flagpole in the front to do all that work, then he did not do one at the center. But maybe I'm assuming he did it at all three, and maybe he only did it at the branches.
Yeah, I don't certainly recall one, and Beth said that no staff was taking it up, so.
So if you want to do either of those, you need to, Bill said you do need to fill out an application.
Yep, will do.
And if you,
I want to
get-
ask for a rain barrel too.
so just, put it all in, the meeting's a week from Thursday, so it can be discussed and hopefully dealt with at that meeting.
Sounds good.
And it depends on, it's like, if it's not where you can see it from a public way, it doesn't matter to us. So it's like, that's why I was really trying to see if we could cite that compost thing behind the that little
Behind
shed that
shed.
you already have in the fence. But because there's that sidewalk, I don't think you'd want to put it on top of the sidewalk. And then that pushes it further back, and then you can see it from depending on how large it is, from the street. So
Yeah, and actually, I just saw another thing is it's been a long time discussing, but the patio lights for the community room, the town really said we couldn't install anything in the buildings, so we've come up with a plan where we're just going to have these kind of big patio planters. The poles are going to get mounted to the planters, and we're just going to spread those around and hang lights on the community patio. So that hasn't been ordered yet, but that's what we're planning for that area.
Okay.
That's it from the capital campaign.
All right. A lot of good stuff, Doug. All right, so it is 7:37. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I need to apologize for totally messing this up. So I'm gonna get that out there too.
Yeah.
I was copying because I did not have access to my computer, and I was doing it, and I grabbed another agenda for a different committee, and I changed everything except for the time, and that's why that 7 o'clock was on there instead of 6. So I apologize that slipped through.
I missed it because all my meetings were at 7.
Right, it's normal. It's not like a red flag, so I don't think anybody
Okay.
noticed it till today.
Right. Okay, somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Beth,
to
I'll
adjourn.
make a motion at 7:38 to adjourn.
Second,
Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Don,
aye.
Andy.
Aye.
Mary, aye.